As explained by Tola and Steph, I'll just run through briefly one of the strategies we use when we working with young people using Zoom. So we've been delivering webinars on various single-themed wellbeing topics with Brunel University as part of the Hillingdon Young People Thrive project. And so today we'll just go through stress, and we use the stress bucket, and the stress bucket is really helpful. It's a really helpful activity to do by yourself or with somebody you trust, or it could be your key worker. And we've had exercises, Tai Chi, we've had yoga. And so once we've done all of these things and we're feeling really calm, it's a really good time. Get yourself a cup of coffee and maybe a piece of cake, and just sit or tea and sit down and work through this. So the arrows at the top signify the different stresses we may be coping with. It could be money challenges, it could be relationship challenges. And during this time of COVID-19, we could be anxious about so many different things. And so you feel like your stress levels are going up and high because of all the different challenges. And once we feel overwhelmed, then our bucket starts to overflow. So it's really good to check your stress gauge. So some of the questions that you may want to ask yourself is, what is the evidence that supports your feeling of stress? Think about it. Is it money difficulties? Is it stress around your own well-being? Is it stress around your child's education, schools in lockdown? Think about all the things that could be affecting you. What can you change? I mean, there are some things we can change and some things we can't. We can't do anything about the COVID-19 at the moment. But we can maybe think about, if you're worried about your health and well-being, maybe you can take time, you can speak to somebody, you can do a bit of exercise. There are some things we can control. If you find yourself, you're reaching for biscuits and snacks because you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, maybe you can change where you put things, or maybe be accountable to somebody in your family. And it's really important to accept the things that you can't really change. And just take them as part of life. And that can be very difficult, especially when you're struggling with your mental health and well-being. But it's really important to take the time and think practically, what can I accept? I can't do anything about this. And what can I change? And try and do something about it. Seek help, speak to somebody. And also, it's really important to think about what needs my urgent attention. If you're struggling with your bills, for instance, or something, speak to somebody, ask for help, ask your key worker. Ask someone at the Wellbeing Hub, ask a navigator, and identify people as well who are within your circle of influence. Is there a trusted friend, a trusted family member that can help me through this situation? Do I need a befriender just to help me through this? I'm feeling a bit lonely and isolated because of shielding. And just find practical ways in which you can cope through the stress. And once we start to find ways to cope through the stress, we kind of letting out this pressure, either using a tap, as the picture shows, or we actually poking holes at the bottom to help us cope. And we kind of feel less overwhelmed, and we feel the stress going down. And doing practical things, like if you're able, let's take a walk within your home, walk up and down. If you're not able to, practice some of the exercises we've done today. And also look at the strategies you're using. Are there some of the strategies you have? If you're really stressed, maybe you're taking to alcohol, maybe you're taking, some substance misuse. I've mentioned eating as well. And think about how you can change these. And then look at the things that really work for you. These are your good coping strategies. Taking more rest, maybe eating better, drinking more, and because sometimes, because we're at home, we may find that we are not drinking enough, because maybe if we were in another setting, we had that company to help us drink and hydrate, but now we are not. And we may be focused on something, we forget to do simple things like that. So it's really paying attention to the things that help you. And these will improve your well-being. Thank you. Laura, could you move to the next slide, please? So this is really what your stress bucket could look like. It's worth pointing out, when you're better able to cope and you feel strong and resilient, your bucket actually is bigger and fuller. And then when you feel overwhelmed, your stress bucket gets smaller, because you know, all these things are just putting so much pressure on you. And this just illustrates lack of sleep, health worries at the moment, family relationships, finances, and just dealing with a change at the moment. And just mentioned earlier, these are unprecedented times, and we are using the word a lot, but we've never been through this before, and for most of us. And so it's really difficult. And we may be facing job challenges. So our anxiety levels are quite high. And we just need to think about things that can help us relax, rest, talking to trusted friends, doing something we enjoy, starting something new in lockdown as well may be really helpful. And looking at how we manage our time. We don't spend too much time doing things that aren't helpful for us. Thank you very much.